evening and welcome to the Super License F1 podcast. My name's Rodney.
And my name is Zach.
It's the time of the season, Zach. Happy season to you. Black Friday season.
Oh, yes, but I'm going to get all the deals. Actually, this is so funny you mentioned this because Amber, my wife, was just sending me a message being like, hey, we've got lots of Amazon credit right now. We really need to get our acts together because it's the time. It's the season. It's Mac shopping season. So, yeah, we really need to get organised, get it to the max. But what about you? You got any big things you need to purchase?
I've had my eye. I've been checking all my places, but no. I mean, no one has like the thing that I want for a great price. I don't want to spoil it. There's a thing I've got my own. I had my own for a long, long time, but it's just so expensive. But it's not cheap enough, Zach. It's cheap, but it's not cheap enough. So can't pull the trigger on that. And we've spent so much money lately.
Yeah. I think the one consistent thing that every Black Friday, that I would be like, if you are going to buy this, just wait till Black Friday. Electric toothbrushes. Oh my God. They are, if you are spending more than like $60 on an electric toothbrush, like if you wait till Black Friday, at least here, that they are like, this is a robot that will clean your teeth for you. You send a person around to run the robot. It's usually $1,000. You can get it now for $45.
Oh, I see.
Like it seems like they are. You know, like VPNs are like this too. I mean, not that we have any like VPN sponsors or any sponsors really, but it's always like get 87% off. It's like it's a made up number though. You made up the price and then you made a made up reduction.
For
no one's spending more than £20.
I feel like I spent $50 for lifetime VPN probably 10 years ago, and I'm still using it.
Exactly. You're one of those people that's been grandfathered into like those unlimited data plans from like 2006.
Never changing.
Like, never
3G
changing.
speeds, but so much data through that.
Free. Exactly. Speaking of speeds as well, we sped through the 2022 season. Like that's...
Boy.
I can't believe
I was going to say this. It feels weird to be talking about the end of the season, and it's not even December. Does it feel weird to you?
Okay. Yeah.
I remember like recent years, it wasn't even that long ago, we did like the last race, and then the next week it was literally like a Christmas show.
Yeah.
But it's...
Yeah.
It feels weird to me.
I think we're probably we've been, those COVID seasons have made us feel like everything was kind of pushed and delayed and tried to be fitted in. And now this is more like what things should be like, I suppose. That being said, they were into 2023 testing, the day after the race? Like that, it felt like it. It was like 6 days or something, like 6 minutes.
That's common, but I usually just ignore that. Because, I mean, other like pre-season testing I pay attention to, but like post-season testing, I'm like, I don't care. It does keep the news ticking along, I guess. And I mean, it's the season's over, so we're going to talk about, some of the later developments, some of the recent races, some of the bigger themes as well, I think, over the year. So I don't know if you have anything that you want to get into here or keep your powder dry for later.
I'm keeping my powder dry.
And we are going to be doing another end of season show as well. So this won't be it. But I don't know. How do you feel like opening up the gates here?
Well, why don't we, V-Gates, why don't we jump into, let's talk about the Vettel last race thing. I think that's a good place to start. What do you think?
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Sebastian Vettel has had his final race. He's like, I'm going to go spend time with my kids. He hadn't. Did you see his interview after the race where he was, talking to...
Yeah.
It was probably Jensen Button.
They interviewed the top three and then they're like, Vettel, I guess you can come in here as well. We'll talk to you.
Top three drivers of the last decade.
Yes. The one moment that I was really surprised by and thought was interesting or cool was when he was on his warm-down lap and they were like, well done, Seb. It's been fantastic working with you. Please set your steering wheel to, yellow 10, strat 2 or whatever. And he did that and then a photo of him popped up on the dash of him holding a trophy.
I didn't see that.
That was really good. That was nice.
That's so good. I watched this race with a couple of friends of mine and they were excited pre-race that they were like, after the race, they'll do donuts, right? And I was like, yeah, I guess.
They will.
Yeah.
That's what you
Is that something...
We can Google donuts right now if you want.
But I was like, yeah, it is. I suppose that does only really happen in the last one. And I suppose the winners, but who was doing them? And then they got told off. They were like, could you stop doing donuts?
Oh, please? It was Schumacher at Haas.
Oh, why was he doing them? God. I can't read the room, that guy.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess he's thinking this. I don't know if I'm going to get back in an F1 car. Who knows? But I mean, it's also like, I'm pretty sure everyone asks them to do it. Like it used to be more of an organic thing, and now they're like, please do donuts at the end of the race to close out the season. So I'm sure that it's an endorsed thing. So, but yeah, I just don't really get it. Why? Like F1 tells some drivers to do it, but not you. You're not one of our special friends.
Yeah, maybe they're like, we're going to use those tyres. We needed those for next year, cost caps. Like,
yeah, thanks, you jerk. I wanted to breathe that air. Now it's all smoky. Oh, God, you're the worst.
God, we fired you this morning, all right? You don't get to do donuts when you're on the way out of the building. Bring your badge in and get out of here.
We're talking about Vettel.
Yes. How do you... I think we've broached this a couple of times, and I've never been able to get it unstuck from my brain. But Sebastian Vettel has... what people in some football circles call the Theo Walcott problem. I think they talk about this in Stadio, which is like he's got, or different, maybe on the Arsblog podcast. But essentially the idea that like you're young and then you're old and there was no middle. Like Sebastian Vettel was just like, I'm a baby, I'm a dad now. And there was no middle time to his career. I'm old now.
I don't know if you count those Ferrari years as the middle of his... I mean, or maybe that's late. I don't know.
I guess.
But that was it, right? It was Red Bull, Ferrari, and then the rest, where he had long hair and picked up rubbish. So I don't even... I don't know. I don't know what my impressions are.
The name of his autobiography.
It felt like... I guess it was just sort of so uneventful, especially that like... race to 5 championships, him and Hamilton, when Hamilton just wiped the floor with him, that it was a bit like, I guess you're kind of done now. You're a bit over.
Yeah.
And I haven't really thought much about him since then.
No, I think that we have kind of had that where with Alonso as well, where now we just got we just had a lot of these world champions just rattling around in Formula One, and you're kind of like, why are you still here? Like, you could go now, but they still really like it.
So this is interesting that you mention Alonso, because when Alonso announced he was retiring a few years ago, everybody ripped him to shreds. And I would argue Vettel's probably done more things that were questionable, screwed more people over, screwed teams over, has, stirred the shit a lot more than Alonso did, I would say. So, I don't know. What an interesting comparison. And then Vettel walks out the door and they're all like, we love you. We love you. I don't necessarily get it.
I wonder if they do, like at Red Bull, they really love him, it seems.
Well, we'll get to who they love.
Yeah, successful drivers they really like. They're really happy to have them like hang out and chat to. If you're a winner, we fucking love you, mate.
That's true.
And he helped like make their brand a thing. Like he is as responsible for that team's success in Formula One as Christian Horner, Helmut Marko, and Adrian Newey. Like the reason they're still here is because of Sebastian Vettel, I would say. And now Max Verstappen, obviously.
Like got them addicted to winning to the degree that when Max Verstappen came along, they absolutely moved heaven and earth to get him to get back to that feeling. And I mean, I think it's too much to say that Max Verstappen's success, he owes a lot to Vettel, but he owes a bit to Vettel.
Yeah.
For the culture that he built at Red Bull.
Yeah. Those ruts are already in the ground. They knew how to like walk that path. Yes. They just knew exactly what to do to make that happen. And they can be ruthless in that way, which I think suits winners in their team.
Yes.
But around like all the other drivers seem to like him. The fans seem to like, and I think like he never had very many fans, which is weird. I think his like eco glow up, like the long haired, softer side. You hear less from him because he's not like you hear less from all the drivers that aren't winning. So you hear fewer radio messages. If you're at the front of the grid, you always. Yeah. And so you always get the like, why is Max complaining all the time? Why is Lewis always arguing about strategy? Why is Sergio complaining about Max? It's like, because these are the people we hear from, because they're at the front. You don't hear from Vettel. Like, he's on the radio the whole time being like, we fucked this up, didn't we? Whoa, you fucking dunces. You don't hear it, though, because no one gives a shit, so they don't play it.
I think the drivers liking Vettel is really key to it, because that's another thing that echoes, even though Seb's not on social media, or was not until recently, but all the other drivers are. And since they like him, they're all posting like photo of me and Seb swapping helmets or having dinner or whatever. I'm going to sound like such an asshole for saying this, but I did notice how much effort people went to Mark Vettel retiring, organising driver dinners, organising special things on the track and on T-shirts and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Especially maybe, well, I won't name names, some of the older drivers with big legacies who I was thinking like, well, in a few years, you'll be in that position and I don't know, maybe you're kind of trying to be like, this is how we treat our amazing, multiple world champions, right? So when I leave, that too for me, please.
Yeah. I think he has become a driver of culture in the Formula One
What do you mean?
Group. I think that he is...
You mean he drove good culture? Like,
yes.
When you said driver, I took it very literally.
Yeah. No, as in he's been trying to... The way he talks about it, the way the drivers talk about him and in the Drivers Association briefings and all that kind of stuff. I think he is a voice for like, hey, we shouldn't be working as hard, or we should be looking after each other and not driving really dangerously, or safety standards need to go up. And Romain Grosjean was credited with a lot of that too. Apparently he was very good at all of that work, and he's not there anymore. And so when you've got this group of young drivers who are all like trying to make it and like are out to kind of get each other, like, and aren't very friendly with each other either. And at the top, they're looking at people like, oh, well, Vettel and Hamilton seem to get along pretty well, and Alonso's here being nice to everybody too. And like, and there's just a bit of a, like, as those people leave, you're kind of like, oh, the grown-ups are leaving the building. Who's going to keep us in line? Is it all just going to be, like, who's going to rally us together? Like, who's going to get, Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly seeing the same way? If it's not... because their teams don't give a shit. And so, that stuff like that, I think that Vettel's doing a lot of that work. And so, it's genuinely missed. And I think he's been he has changed. That's the thing. He has genuinely grown up and his character has changed. And the journalists talk about this, that he's very friendly and open with his time and wants to talk about issues that aren't Formula One related and all of this stuff. He has become a more, like... And maybe it speaks to me because this is why I liked Formula 1. So these characters were people. They're personalities that aren't just like, I drive a car really fast and that's all they give a shit about and that's the only thing that matters to me. It's like, okay, Max Verstappen, calm down. And that's what's so interesting about Sebastian. Yeah, that's what's so interesting about Sebastian Vettel is he was that guy and now he's not.
He was. And you'd have to say Hamilton was as well. Yeah. Hamilton's gone through a similar transformation, I would say, of character and building a reputation. He's still ruthless on the track, but, pushing social issues and for me, one of those lasting memories will be like Hamilton and Vettel side by side, both taking a knee before the races, all that kind of stuff, and just pushing things in a positive direction. I mean, you could argue, well, Vettel sort of knew that his best years were behind him and big success wasn't going to be coming, so what is left to do but build a legacy in those things. But I don't know, it always rang true to me. It always seemed like it was coming from a genuine place, that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So we're massive Sebastian Vettel fans, regardless of
Miss you, Seb.
One or anything like that. Yeah, Danke, Seb, or as someone actually said, Danke, Seb, and I was like, that's not.
Who said Danke? Seb? Nobody said that.
Danky, bit of hanky panky with a danky.
Hanky panky.
Yeah.
Nothing like a good danky, Seb. We miss you, Seb. Anyway, that's
the rest of the grid because he's gone.
Yeah.
Rod.
Seb's gone. A few other people are gone. I heard people talking about how Ricciardo and Sebastian Vettel were leaving, and that was the drivers that were leaving. I was like, what? Latifi? Schumacher? Yeah. There's other drivers leaving. It's not just them.
Unceremoniously, maybe through the back door, not the front.
No, we've had the last available seats fill. Sadly, one is not Daniel Ricciardo. We'll get to him in a minute. Park that. New names. Well, an old name and a new name. Surprise for me, I think, Nico Hülkenberg stepping in at Haas and Logan Sargent, or as I like to call him, Senior Sergeant Logan, stepping in at Williams, having secured at the last minute a super license. Stamp from me. Stamp from you.
Formula 2 or something, and they were like, "Oh, yes, you've got enough
We've been waiting to announce you for so long."
Yes. This was one of those weeks where I got a lot of
Google, had no plan B
alerts because there was a lot of super license chat.
Was there? Okay, cool. And how many were minimal?
None. Guessing. Do you want to guess
That's sad.
At Logan Sargent's middle name? Because I was like, who is this? I know nothing about Logan Sargent. This was on Sunday where I was like, he's been confirmed. I should really learn something about him for the podcast. So I was Googling around. I was like, where's he from? And then
I was kind of doubling down on the Senior Sergeant Logan being his nickname, but given that he's driving at Williams, maybe his nickname is going to be Slogan.
Ooh.
Slogan Sergeant, more like it.
Yes.
Middle name, I don't really know. I hope it's like Bogan or Rogan or something. Logan Rogan.
It's Hunter. And as soon as I read that,
Hunter,
Logan
whoa.
Hunter Sargent, I was like, oh, you could only be from America. It is impossible that you're from somewhere else. Like, did your parents name you Logan
Sergeant.
after Wolverine? Probably. And Hunter because that's cool and fun. So, yeah.
And we're stuck with Sergeant, but luckily that's also a name.
That's also cool and
That's a name with hair on its chest.
militaristic. Good.
So, yeah, I guess we'll learn a bit more about Logan Sargent next year when we actually get to see him race. But he seems okay. Seems fine. Yeah. Hulkenberg, we know everything about. We know Hulkenberg all too well.
Yeah, he's a friend of the show.
Is he what Haas needs, though?
Well, it worked for Magnussen.
Sure.
Why not for Hulkenberg, right? Maybe that's exactly what you need.
Must be what they're thinking.
Yeah. I think it does. I think that with the Wonder Kids, or the Wunderkinds, you're either like the margin of error is too high, and that's why Red Bull just like churn through them, right? They're like, how good are you? If you're not instantly like a race winner, you're out. Like we need to know, like give you one season, didn't work, you might be good, but you're not like blow our socks off, then you're out. And I think that we have a lot of also-rans on the grid right now who are young and good. Like, oh, wow, you came second in Formula 2. Like Logan Sargent. Like, he's a great example. You're fourth in Formula 2. You've gone to Williams, who suck, but need the money. And you're American, and that suits Formula 1. So you might be good, but, like, how good are you actually going to be? You're probably just going to be an also-ran. Like, it's tough. I mean, it was tough for even, like, George Russell. And he was, like, the guy. You know, he had to wait his turn, really, and do his time at Williams. So, yeah, I think that someone like Haas just goes like, well, yep, that worked with Kevin, and Nico Hulkenberg is good and will do a good job too. What's more important to us? Like getting results and making this car get better, because we can take pay drivers, but they'll just suck. And then it's too costly because they like drive into walls and are bad and hard to work with and all of these things. Like no matter how much money you're bringing, if it doesn't help the team get better, then there's no point, because actually where the real money is made is those like points results and where you finish in the championship. That's how you get more sponsors. If you're just boodling around at the back with pay drivers, then yeah, your team might survive, but it will never grow or flourish or change its position in the sport.
Yeah, and you got to fuel that drive to survive.
And you know, Hulkenberg brings that sweet Decra sponsorship that all the German drivers do, I'm sure.
What's Decra?
I don't know. But they were the big hat sponsor for Michael Schumacher. And then they were also thinking, I think it's been in a quiz before. Let me just quickly do
probably
do Google.
Let me just Google my notes for that name and see if it comes up.
Decra is the world's largest non-listed expert organization in the TIC sector, founded in Berlin. What the fuck does that mean?
I wonder if they sponsored Vettel, and then Hulkenberg benefits from Vettel retiring because they're like, well, we kind of like having our logo all over Formula One. What can we do? This Hulkenberg guy seems interesting.
They inspect motor vehicles. That's
there you go.
Tangential.
It's got to be done. Someone's got to do it. What are you going to do it? Me? I'm like, I can't do it. I'm
Speaking
too busy.
of inspecting stuff, Rod, you know who's been inspecting the numbers? Pirelli. And they put some numbers out. They were like, hey, 30% increase in overtakes this season. Don't you know?
I need to see the stats on this. And I have questions because I haven't read this thing. But do you think this is a reliable number, or is this like
I think it's Pirelli's number. I think it's. I mean,
is it 30% more overtakes because we had more races? Is it 30% more overtakes because we had more penalties where like Verstappen was dropped to the back of the grid and then overtook everyone? Like, I mean, is there reasons for this? Because 30% seems like that's an awful lot. You
know what? It's probably all of those things, but also it passes the eye test because we've been talking about all year how much easier it is for drivers to follow. So I think it's true. I would say the biggest indicator is probably driver gets passed and then gets overtaken because we've seen more battling. So, like, I think we're getting double the overtakes in those overtaking circumstances because you get one guy overtakes and then the other guy's like, I'm going to stay with you, and then retake it.
I guess the story they want to tell is about the aerodynamic differences between the cars, where it's easier to follow, easier to brake through and get ahead.
And that the tyres haven't been falling off cliffs, that they've been more competitive.
This is what I was worried about. Over the season, there was this number of overtakes compared to this number, which is bigger. But I I just don't know. I'd have to look deeper before I know.
Yeah, and this is why I brought it up on the show.
Lot.
We're holding
we're
speaking truth to power, man. You know, we don't want to. We don't
take
the numbers as read.
I don't know what the truth is.
But
I mean, look, do you look back on this season and be like, it was so great, all that overtaking, unbelievable?
I think there were tracks where that was the case. Yes, I think there was lots of battling where I was like, oh, there's like 3 cars involved here. This is really good. I felt like this season had a lot more.
Yeah, I feel like this season had a lot more. There's 3 or 4 cars abreast. I feel like that used to happen once or twice a season, and now it's every second race that happens.
Yeah. I think the grid was much closer this season. I think that's down to multiple things.
Other than the obvious.
Yeah, new formula. So that means, you know, it's pretty tight in the midfield, which is always good. But I don't think, other than Red Bull, I can't think of many times where like a driver has just been like from one of the top teams, just like blown through the grid, like from 10th, and just been like, I'm going to win this race because my car's so much better. I actually think all the cars, you know, whether it's Alpine, McLaren, even Aston Martin, I think they've been competitive, and AlphaTauri, even Alfa Romeo, everybody except Williams kind of had some point scoring races this season. And it's meant that cars are hard to overtake. So cars you'd be following them for a long time, and then you'd have to wait for a DRS zone to get the overtake done, probably. But like all things being equal, and let's say you're not Red Bull always, these overtakes were not easy. And so that made the driving more competitive, which led to more circumstances where evenly matched drivers were together and there was overtakes happening. So yeah. It's good.
So speaking of Red Bull and speaking of overtakes, there's a few other stories that we should get to. One being the drama, #drama at Red Bull, Verstappen versus Perez. The moment, it was like the big dramatic moment that the season needed because it was really a dead rubber by the end of it. But you know, people will say, well, Perez let Verstappen through as if he wasn't going to just drive over the top of him anyway. And then they said you switch back around if you can't overtake anyone. Verstappen had like 2 laps or something and then, you know, was right behind the guy in front of him. Perez was 4 seconds behind him and they were like, why didn't you switch back? I'm like, dude, I thought this was actually a bit silly. I thought this was all too much.
Do you think you should have let him through?
No, I think that Verstappen was always going to get past Perez. Perez let him through fine, but I think expecting him to give the position back to Perez was not. I just didn't think that was warranted. I mean, Perez was in a battle for second, but I mean, Perez was second. Verstappen started up the front too, but he ended up in 18th. And then cut to the end of the race, Perez has dropped from second to like 7th. Verstappen's climbed from 18th to 6th. And then they're like, please let Perez through. I'm like, I don't know, guys. I just don't know.
So you don't think it, like, because Max Verstappen's won the World Championship at this point, right? So it means nothing.
Well and truly, yes.
Yes. And so they're not going for first and second either. So there's not really it doesn't matter either. But it could mean that you could have a 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look, I mean, you know, if I ran Red Bull, would I want him to do that? Yes. Since I don't care.
Sorry, there's the crux. Yeah. Is it drama? No. Is it drama for Red Bull? Yes.
X factor for Rod. If he doesn't care, then all bets are off.
Who knows what he doesn't give a shit. Fine.
I just thought that Perez drove a lousy race. I mean, this seemed like Red Bull asking Verstappen to give Perez a gift. And I was like, well...
Yeah, like Perez has done multiple times in his career.
Well...
For Max, been like, hey, cool, I'll sacrifice my race so you can build a lead, or I'll just jump out of the way for you and fuck up my strategy.
Do I need to remind you how many races Verstappen won this year?
Yeah, there's no denying. I think it's not about this season. I think it's very much about last season.
Well, you know, I think that was Perez's point as well. I mean, this is also what turned me against Perez. Perez was like, oh yeah, well, if Verstappen likes his championship from last year, which he basically owes me, and I was like, well, boy, that's a big call. I think that's actually a big call, and it's a bit disrespectful, frankly.
You don't think it's true?
I mean, Perez helping Verstappen get 1 or 2 points here or there isn't the difference between him contending with Hamilton or not.
But it was.
Like the 99% of it.
Like, that was the thing.
See, you're saying it too now. I don't think so. I mean, Verstappen did all the work to get himself into that position. It's like someone running a marathon and then someone holds the door open so that they can walk inside. You're like, yeah, it's all due to me, thanks. It's like, well, the other guy ran the marathon.
Yes, I suppose.
I'm playing too much devil's advocate here because I truly don't care that much. But it was the dramatic moment, so we should talk about it. What do you think? You think that Verstappen should have just taken his foot off the pedal?
I think that it's just as easy. I think
and Perez still would have come third.
No, well, so let's talk. Let's go back to this. That's to the point that the Perez is making around. Like, you wouldn't have won that championship without me. I think that's true because he did exactly what all season they needed Sergio Perez to do, which was be a really good support driver, be number 2, and whenever he had an opportunity to enable a win for Max Verstappen, he was asked to and did. That isn't that without that. And we said it before that season. We were like, that's what Perez has been hired to do, and that's what these guys are going to do. And I think he'll do a good job of it because Bottas didn't do a great job of that for Hamilton towards the end of Bottas's career at Mercedes, and that was detrimental to Hamilton, I think. It made it harder for Hamilton to win championships. But when it's on a knife edge like that, when you've got a season where, like, of course, Max Verstappen is driving his socks off, but he's getting help. And I don't think it wouldn't have even been that close if he wasn't getting really good support from Perez. Now, it's not to say that no other driver could do that, but I actually don't think that if Perez wasn't there and it was a different driver who refused to do that work, Max Verstappen wouldn't have won the world championship.
Hot takes.
So is it his champion? Is it? Well, actually, it's a shared championship because they did equal amounts of work. No, that's not true. But if you've got let's take your marathon example. If it's like, cool, yes, I ran the marathon, but every now and again, my teammate came up to me and tugged me or tried to trip me or, like, took my water bottle away, like, made it way harder for me to win.
You passed me water, so we won the marathon together.
Yeah, but that's not it. But, like, in the end, you've got two people that are competing all the time, and drivers, like, Formula One isn't like a marathon because they actually compete the whole way through. And Perez didn't compete with Max Verstappen at all. And that is very unlike basically every other driver pairing.
I would argue Perez could not compete with Max Verstappen. So what other option is there?
Maybe.
I think
the times when he did compete with Max Verstappen this year, he was asked to move.
I think Verstappen set out this year to prove a point. I could win any day that I like. As long as I have the better car.
As long as I've got the best car.
Streets ahead of this other guy, this other clown in the other car.
Yeah.
Forget him. He's nobody. I mean, I at one point I got excited because I was thinking Verstappen if you just took Verstappen's points and treated him like a team, he would still be equal first. But it turned out I had my maths wrong and he was 100 points off. But still, like, Perez only needed to score 101 points this season and Red Bull would have claimed the championship. Meanwhile, Verstappen had 600 points or something. Like, it's absurd how much Verstappen won this year. So, I mean, he has nothing else to prove this year. I know you're talking about last year. I know. But I don't know, man. I just think it's a lot to say.
So it has absolutely nothing to prove.
I think it's a lot to say Verstappen
what he proved to us,
have won last year.
There's no doubt in my mind that he wouldn't have won without a very favourable ruling. And it took what half the grid believes is cheating or the wrong call for him to win the world championship. He wins that world championship 1 in 1,000 times, I think. And that's why he's so fucking thankful for it. I think it's, but actually he's not, because he thinks it's his God-given right to win world championships, because that's how he's been groomed to think by his own team.
I mean, look.
But outside of that, all of that aside, he's got, as you just said, he's got absolutely nothing to prove and still found a way to fucking own goal his way through this season and show himself to be a worse person, where he's like, no, you know the reasons why I won't let this guy through. So what, he took a bullet for me, couldn't give a shit.
I'm not getting into any of that.
I'm competing for 7th. Don't let him pass me. I will crash into him if he tries to come past me, because I am the greatest who's ever lived. So no. And I mean,
I don't endorse that.
Come on, it's mad. And you know what's worse is that will, I think, be bad for not just his legacy, but if it doesn't quite go right, if they're not as competitive next season and they're not winning races, the team will look at him and be like, and I'm not talking about his new father, his non-biological father, Christian Horner, and his non-biological grandfather, Helmut Marko. I'm talking about his colleagues. They're like, oh yeah, we liked Sergio. You really fucked him over there. What a shit move.
Yeah.
Why?
I think a lot of people,
when he's not winning, people will be like, why do we have to work with this turd? You know? Does he give a shit about us?
That's the Red Bull way. Put up with turds.
It is. Work with turds.
Love them
Red
when they're
Bull.
winning.
You can't polish a
lot of people have made that point that, I mean, what a hill to die on. Like defending, when you've already claimed the championship, nothing to prove. Your own race was a nothing race. You chose that hill to die on. And it was clearly to prove a point. He made a, huge, guided, not guided, coded message. I have my reasons. Everybody knows why. We've talked about it, blah, blah, blah. Wanted everybody to know his reasons, and the reasons are dog shit. So not defending any of that. But yeah, look, yeah. I mean, I think I think everyone's made up their mind now about Verstappen, the kind of guy he is, and whether you're on board or not.
Yeah, but people thought this about Vettel as well, right? It's the same arc. It's so weird. I would say that this is where we got to with Sebastian Vettel, like on this show, even like when we were podcasting, we were like, "God, he's a shit." Like,
if only we could.
Fans don't like him.
No, look, I don't know. I got bored of Vettel winning,
that was it.
But I dislike Verstappen winning so many races and championship, and very much want someone else to win. It's a different. It cuts different for me. But anyway,
well, who's walking into that hornet's nest? Daniel Ricciardo.
Yes, good on him. I saw a headline that says, quote from Ricciardo, "I didn't want to drive next year." I was like, didn't he? I think he very much did. He just, I don't know. He's been racing on his reputation for too long, and ran out of seats and ran out of talent. I don't know what. It seems he clearly had options at the back of the grid, but chose not to. Everyone's talking up that he's a third driver at Red Bull. They have three drivers. He's one of them. I'm like, that's just not right.
That's marketing.
He won't be doing anything. It is marketing, 100%.
Yeah. Maybe what I could see happening, because they've got Perez, is that they sack Perez halfway through the season.
Yeah, or we've just been talking about Perez fall in line, or else and having Ricciardo to point to would be useful for them. Having Ricciardo to point to when Perez says, "If you want me to be number 2 driver, you've either got to pay me more or let me win some races. You choose." They'll just point to Ricciardo and be like, "We've got this guy."
Yeah. Or even just gets to the Nespresso machine before Verstappen, and Verstappen has an easy fit, and he's like, "I'm the king around here. I'm the one with the 2 world championships. You're nobody. Yeah. Get this guy out of here." Daniel's in the back room with his helmet on, ready to go. Get him in the car. I could, as I said, they've got Perez. They've done this before. It would not surprise me if Perez, and they'll find a reason, right? They'll be like, "Oh, he's underperforming. He's got sick. He's got a sore back. We're just going to put Daniel in the car for a little. Oh, look, Daniel did really well. Huh. Yeah, we just ended Perez's contract.
Is this a
I think that's my hot take for next year, is that Daniel Ricciardo is the number 2 driver at Red Bull before the end of the season.
You've got to put a number on it. How many races next year do you think Ricciardo will
No, it'll be when they come back from the summer break. They'll fire Perez. They won't fire him. They'll be like, "We're going to make a driver swap for a short period so Perez can find what he's finding." But yeah, they will swap them in the summer break. So we'll come back to Spa or whatever it is, and Daniel Ricciardo will be driving the other. I guess
there's about 9. I forget where they used to put the summer break in the middle of the season. Now it's sort of like 11 on one side and 9 on the other, or some weird number like that. But let's say even 10 races possibly for Ricciardo next year at Red Bull.
Yeah, is it too hot, that take? Where do you put it on the temperature scale?
It's lofty. I mean, look, if it comes off, you're going to look like an absolute genius. But you've done the hard work.
What does this mean for our steak bet?
It just has to happen. I think that Perez is. The thing is, I just don't think Perez is a threatening enough driver to cause that problem. You know what I mean? As if Perez is going to be like, "Hey, you better start respecting me, or I'm going to start making life hard for Max." And they're like, "Go ahead," and then Max will beat him by 30 seconds or something. So I don't think he can't back it up to be like, "Hey, I'm going to cause real problems. I'm going to cause real headaches for you." It's like, well,
Sergio, did you hide the tires again? Come on.
Oh, Sergio.
It's become a little gremlin.
I think one of the funny things for me is that it doesn't feel like we're losing Ricciardo, but we kind of are. He's not on the grid. He won't be on the grid because the news hasn't been, "See you later, Daniel." The news has just been, "I'm just changing teams. I just won't be driving, but I'm still in." Just feels like I haven't had closure, really.
Yep, I get that. Are you happy about
Missing that closure. Not really. Don't like that he went to that team in particular. Don't like that it's a reserve role. But also, I don't know that he deserves much better, so I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose this gives him the freedom to go and do Indy 500 if he wants to, Le Mans if he wants to. He'll go on the post good F1 driver circuit of where you just go and do all the races.
Oh, who was it? Oh, it was McLaren Zach Brown saying IndyCar, I think it was IndyCar, should be counted for super license points equivalent to Formula 2. What do you think of that idea?
Yeah, go on. Why not? Get more of those.
Makes sense.
In there,
I think
right?
it makes sense.
They're going to have 5 races by the end of the decade or something. Half the grid will be American teams and drivers.
Logan Sargent joining the grid, the first US driver in, I think, 15 years. I think we would probably see a few more American drivers joining the grid if they could qualify more easily for points by competing in an IndyCar series. So,
yes, but their daddy's paid for. Yeah, exactly. It's easy.
It's not a bad idea at all. I think he's done pretty well there.
Yeah, we got to watch Logan. He's that's a shipping magnate in Florida.
Watch Logan's run.
I haven't seen them. As a big Trump supporter, so we're going to be watching. I'm going to be watching Logan closely. Yeah,
you're saying Logan Sargent is a big Trump supporter?
Yes-ish.
Ooh.
I'm kind of saying that.
Yes-ish. Let's Google that.
So, oh God, this is look. Don't bring sport and politics together, Rod. Okay, they're very different. Okay, so of course Logan's a paid driver as well. His dad is a very, very, very wealthy shipping magnate from I think.
Hold on a second.
Yeah,
Logan is the brother of former NASCAR driver Dalton Sargent. Their billionaire grandfather has a role in what led to the first impeachment of Donald Trump.
Yes, but not him trying to impeach.
Led to that in the bad way.
Like he fucked up, and that led to it being the Democrats being able to impeach Donald. So,
okay.
Yeah, he was covering tax stuff up and doing all this kind of stuff. Not like, hey, we should get Trump out of here. More like,
here we go.
I'm tied up in the dodgy business dealings.
Indicted Lev Parnas as he and Rudy Giuliani pressured Ukraine to help Trump. Oh, this is bad.
This is real. Yeah, mate, it's real bad.
What a discovery for me to have.
So
Logan,
live on sins of the fathers. Don't worry about it. We'll, but you know what? It's fine.
Okay,
it's not going to come out.
I thought it was. I'm starting to think it's not.
Yeah, it's not like Donald Trump's going to run for president again or anything, and like that. Team America's going to be a big
brace yourself. I hope you're sitting down.
Wait, what? At least he might be able to tweet about it.
The stories. Oh God, I'm off Twitter. Like I'm not posting.
I saw
not
that.
An account, but I'm done. I can't. It's so bad. But follow us on Super License. Join the Discord. Maybe join the Discord. That's probably a good idea in case it all comes crumbling down. A couple more stories that we want to talk about though. Russell and Hamilton.
Russell's way better. I chalk that one. Hamilton's done.
A little bit. Yep, done. Next. I thought it was interesting because so much was made about this run of seasons that Hamilton has had where he's won at least one race. They were so desperate to make this a thing. And they were like, if he only has to win one race. He only has to win one race to keep the streak going.
Come on.
And Mercedes win, but it was Russell. Whoops. The wrong driver. Thrilled for Russell.
Yeah,
thrilled for Russell. I think it was the juxtaposition of him a few races earlier where he was like, I'm just gutted, this sucks, to, him sitting down crying and just being like, this is the best feeling in the world. This is what I was put on this earth to do.
Toto FaceTimed him in the engineer brought in a phone.
Yeah.
Toto on. Toto's like, yeah, man, I couldn't be there. And then he's like, and then they show Toto to Hamilton. Hamilton's like, g'day, mate. Like, just give him a thumbs up. Like, yep, I'm here too.
I'm also
cool. I mean, we talk every day.
Smiling.
You never called me when I was in the green room, Toto. How come you calling your boy Russell?
Well, yeah, of all the races for Toto to sit out and watch from, I guess he was at the factory or, wherever.
Yeah, weird, right?
But
why not go to the last race?
Second last race, wasn't it?
Oh, second last race, yes, of course, not the last race. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess their season was, if their season was depending on it, then maybe, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, fair enough.
Ferrari,
do we think Russell's better than Hamilton? Probably not.
Well, I mean,
not yet. Maybe.
You'd have to look at the course of their careers and point to Hamilton and probably say he'd done a little bit better. But
I think he's done much better, yeah.
I think it's been interesting to see the change in attitude from Hamilton, where it was only a few years ago where they were like, what do you think when you retire from Formula One? What will you do to give back to the sport that's given you so much? And he's like, nothing. I don't know Formula One anything. Now he's like, I love Formula One. I want to be here for so long. I just want to be around this, and I want to keep pushing this forward and making it better. And a lot of people brought up the post of his after the whole Abu Dhabi thing last year went down. And then he sort of went silent on social media for a while. Then he came back saying, if you thought you've seen me driving at my best, just wait till 2022. And it was like, oh, awkward.
Yeah, wrong timing. I think we'll talk about this more in our full season recap, but it's been interesting seeing Mercedes kind of stick to their guns on some of their design decisions, like that really thin side, it's really narrow at the back, that car still, like really tight to the engine, and like they didn't compromise, it seems, on a lot of the stuff that they're like, no, we believe in this long term. The car's not fast enough, but we can sort that. Like, and they did go on that trajectory through the season. Like, they did get just better and better and better and better. And I wonder if they're kind of secretly being a bit like, we're going to get everyone in 2023. Like, you don't know what's going to hit you. We got two of the best drivers around. Red Bull have got this weird internal struggle going on. They can't be good forever. So, yeah. Which is what I've been, but where does Ferrari sit there? Charles Leclerc, second in the championship. Have we got another Felipe Massa on our hands? Probably not.
Well, the thing is, Leclerc should have been a clear second. It shouldn't have even been a battle. It's bizarre that it's a battle between him. That's the other thing about Perez. It's bizarre that he, against a Ferrari driver who, their car has struggled, in certain races Leclerc himself has struggled, it shouldn't even be a contest between Perez and Leclerc. He should have put Leclerc away easily. And then the flip side of that, if Leclerc had better, like a more reliable car, a more, balanced car across more tracks, and a little bit of luck, he should have been almost not fighting with Verstappen, but streets like in between Perez and Vettel in that sort of Goldilocks zone where it shouldn't have even been a contest. So it was a strange one to be hyping up, like who's going to finish second. That's already strange anyway, but it's also like, the guy who should clearly have been second or the other guy who should have been clearly second.
Okay, yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it. I like it. Should we pivot to the other side of the results? Williams, a handful of points, I think. Like Haas was second last, I think, with 35 points. Like a good season for them. Is it Capito and the rest of Williams even doing in Formula One now?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, now that they've got that Trump cash behind them, they're going to get sick of winning. They're going to win so much, they're just going to be sick of it. Isn't this... Who did Hulkenberg... When Hulkenberg drove, who did he drive for? Or, no, maybe it was Nick De Vries.
Nick De Vries
stepped in for someone
Williams,
and scored points. I think that was Williams, yeah. So it was like you scored... What did they score? It looks like it's maybe... Well...
3 points in total, I think.
Albon had 1, 2, 3, 4 points...
Okay.
Latifi 2 and De Vries 2. So by my counting, that's 8 points. Yeah. Good stuff.
I call that a handful. Maybe 2 handsful.
It's too fews. And it's too few points. Not enough.
Yep. No good. No good. I don't know what the future looks like for them. I don't really understand what they're doing. Like everybody else seems to have a bit of a plan, and they just seem crap. Just overall. Yeah, I mean, it feels like not so long ago, Williams were one of the worst teams, but there was like other teams that they were battling with, and it would almost be like the bottom 4, there might be a few overtakes and stuff. But now it's like, well, at the end of lap 1, they're like, see you later. Yeah, they probably haven't been helped as well. The Mercedes engine, right, that wasn't that good this season.
Most races, yeah. And the ones where they did all right, Mercedes also did pretty well.
So, yeah, maybe it'll be better next season. But, yeah, I think...
Let's hope so.
They're in trouble. Do we, though? I mean, I don't know. I have this weird relationship with Williams. So, like, if you're not old enough, like, you just don't know Williams. Like, you don't know the legacy of Williams or why it's important that they are really successful. And in the end, like, they're not family-owned anymore.
Yeah. Was there a sponsorship controversy with Williams where they had to ditch a sponsor or something? Did I hear something about that?
Maybe.
I know some of them did. Like, I know there was that FTX that crashed. I think it was Mercedes were like, oh, I think we're going to end our partnership with you and rip your logo off our car. But basically, like, they've got their money, so they just, Yeah,
there's a lot of crypto sponsorship in Formula One right now. They've had to, the Crypto.com company had to, they were sponsoring, they had a massive sponsorship deal on a US stadium that now, I think that like Salesforce has stepped in, or like some proper brand has stepped in and been like, we'll take that over because you have no money at all. Like you also, I don't think brands are going to want to necessarily align themselves with crypto as much next year or next season. I think there's just
it'll be
too
interesting
much weight
to see.
of like people know that it's bad.
I feel like we transitioned from tobacco to like a little bit alcohol, and then now it's kind of like, and then it was going to be gambling, but I think a lot of places have stamped that out as well.
Yep.
And crypto is the next one that's shady, big money that, I don't know. I just remember seeing weird ads for Daniel Ricciardo, and I didn't know what it was about. I was like, what's this? And you Google it, and it's like, oh, it's a cryptocurrency. Oh, fucking crypto.
Yeah. I mean, like, the people who are involved, who are being sued right now as part of the FTX thing as people who, like, plumped for it, or, like, Larry David's on that list. I was like, what the fuck were you talking about FTX? Like, what were you doing? Like, come on.
We're taking a paycheck.
It's a massive paycheck, right? Like, you get paid in that token, and then when it spikes because you've said something about it, then everyone's like, I'm going to buy it. And then you just dump it all and you make all this money, and then everyone gets fucked. Like, yeah, it's
that's it. It's the grind.
It's a Ponzi scheme, everybody. Don't worry about it. This is not investment advice at all. We are not that. That total disclaimer, but don't fuck with crypto unless you want to fuck around and find out. Great.
If you have some, sell it and then just have a good laugh about how silly you were to buy it.
Yeah, it's fine. And, I'm not. And there probably are people who like listen to the show who are like blockchain, like absolute maximalists on Bitcoin or something. Good for you. It seems like some tech looking for a problem. It's
stupid. It's so bad. It's bad for the environment. It only enables shady stuff. So it's bad.
So because of work out that non-shady stuff, it's almost like the banks are all there to make sure that the shady stuff doesn't happen to you personally all the time. It's almost like, yes, we don't trust each other, so we need a third party to be trustworthy on our behalf.
It's going to be awesome when Twitter pivots to being a crypto distribution network.
Rod, it already did that. Because remember, Jack Dorsey did that already. Like, he literally left as CEO to make sure he could be the CEO of Square, which is leaning insanely heavily into Web3 and crypto and blockchain. Like, oh man, it gets them all in the end. Do you want to move on to a super quiz?
Yep.
We will accept a couple of questions. Should one only win one? Would one want to have won that one in round one?
Can you repeat the question?
Zach, what did I say to you before we recorded today?
You said that for 10 bonus points, you wanted to guess the theme of the quiz before I did the quiz. So
can I have 10 bonus points if I do?
Yeah, of course. But you'll lose 10 bonus points if you don't guess correctly.
No worries. I'm feeling quietly confident. This is going to be the Let's Get to Know Logan Sargent quiz.
You zigged when you should have zagged, my friend.
Oh, no.
I'm saving that for next season because I feel like we don't know enough about him just yet. I want to get...
I did have to check whose turn it was, because if it was my turn to do a quiz, that's what I was going to do.
Well, you can have first dibs on him next year.
Cool.
We can get into the dirty dealings of his grandfather. So, man, this is...
You can't bring it up.
It's just accusations at this stage.
Look, it's all allegedly.
Allegedly. Instead, and you know what? It's good to have a quiz banked, right, for next season, because you never know what's going to happen. So this is the Abu Double quiz. The Abu Double. Okay. Like Dubby, but double. This is a quiz about doubles. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions for you, which is good because we've been going along. So it's all about doubles. In the end, 5 questions. Are you ready?
Ready.
Perfect. Great. Who was the last driver before Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton to win a championship 2 times in a row?
Is it Fernando Alonso? No, it would be Vettel.
Yes, exactly. Much better. We'll just
that
was the warm up. Yeah, exactly.
Just had to double think it.
Double dunker. Question number 2: who was the first person to win the Melbourne Grand Prix back to back? If you're really unsure, I could give you multiple choice.
Sorry, you said the first person to win the
Melbourne Grand Prix. Not the Australian Grand Prix, but the Australian Grand Prix, yes, but the ones in Melbourne. The true Australian Grand Prix.
I don't think... Let me say who I don't think it is. This is going to be good. This is going to be entertaining for everybody. Settle in, everybody. I don't think it was Schumacher. Got a feeling. Mm-hmm. Wait, no. I changed my answer. Michael Schumacher. Definitely lock it in.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
I think he won like 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. Something like that.
Really? That many? I feel like he was always a bit shaky in the first race, but then like dialed it in and won everything after that. But maybe not.
Yeah, it's one of my earliest Formula One memories is Mika Hakkinen winning the Melbourne Grand Prix and Mark Schumacher not. Okay, question number 3. Who is the most recent person to return and drive for a team they had previously left?
Did it happen this season? Can I ask that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It did happen this season.
Left Formula One, came back to a team this season and raced for them. Same team.
Hulkenberg?
That might, yes, I think that did happen. So yes, let's say that yes. Yeah, but Kevin Magnussen.
Kevin Magnussen.
He left Haas, and then he came back to Haas. And the reason I put in drive for is because
I saw a thing for Hulkenberg with all the different teams that he's driven for. I was like, oh, he's nearly got the set. He could. Yeah.
Oh, man, we should make that happen. The teams have got to find a way to make that happen. He drove for everyone on the grid. Okay, which team was the last team to have 2 world champions as their drivers at once?
McLaren?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
Who would it have been at McLaren?
Alonso and Button.
That's good. Maybe. Can I account for them? What year would that have been? That would have been... No.
The thing is, it was a while ago.
Yeah. So I've got a more recent one.
Okay. Is it Seb and Raikkonen?
It is. Ferrari 2018. Sebastian Vettel.
Oh, that would be way more recent.
Kimi the Raikkonen. In 2021, this is the last question number 5. I think you've knocked it out of the park, really.
No, I haven't.
In 2021, you have. Mercedes won the Constructors, but Max Verstappen won the Drivers' Championship with Red Bull.
You don't say.
When was the last time before that a team didn't win the double in the Abu Double quiz?
Blah.
It was a what I think you should think about is think about a season where it's very competitive. It's very close at the front end, right? Between 2 drivers who aren't racing for the same team.
Yeah, it's been a while. What was it?
But the driver that won the championship is still on the grid today.
Yeah. So was it the Hamilton and Seb one from a few years ago? Did Ferrari come? No, Ferrari didn't win the championship.
So you're close. That's very close. I mean, you're all there except probably the year. But yes, you're right on Hamilton. It was Hamilton who won the championship.
A year that Hamilton won the championship where that
team
Mercedes
did not win the
the
constructors. Yep. His team didn't win the constructors.
Yeah, well, I know what you mean. I can't. Was it one of the early ones for Mercedes? Because I can't.
Not Mercedes.
Interesting. So it must be a long time ago. Is that what you're saying? Mm-hmm. Really, that long?
Do you want me to just tell you?
So you're saying, I'm thinking Hamilton 2008?
Yes, that's it. Bang, you got it right.
That
Hamilton
was
2008.
The last time.
That was the last time before last year.
I guess 2009 Button, yeah, okay. And then all the Seb years, and then all the Mercedes years. I guess that makes sense. Look, I can't fault your logic.
Who won that? Who won the constructors that season? 2008.
I guess Ferrari.
Yeah, with Massa and Kimi, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I think so. Oh no, I can't remember who it was.
I think you're right. It was the year after Kimi did really well, and then
Kimi
he
won
decided,
2007.
I've won one now. I'm not going to try.
Yeah.
Let's let Hamilton have one.
Yeah. And Massa was like, but what about me? No.
Yeah, but I really want it, and my dad really wants it.
I was one of the best drivers of my generation. Everyone just thinks of me as number 2.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, mate. Sure. You're back in your box, Massa.
Don't go, Massa.
We really love Rubens Barrichello. Not you, Felipe.
Got me in there. Got me in the end down the start and shaky in the middle. But look.
But you know what? I think you always almost had it, which is important.
That's right. I was threatening the whole way to turn it around and do
well. You were Sergio Perez your way through that quiz. Any moment now, I might get it right. I might hook it all up.
We know who the number 2 host here is, but I'm just saying, all the success. You know who it. Your success.
Happen without them.
If it wasn't for me. Should we move on? Should we wrap up the show?
Yeah.
one of our favorite ways to do that is to do Crafty's Corner, where we craft the world's most viral tweet.
How did we go last time?
How confident are you that our upward trajectory of the first 3 times we did this is continuing? What do you reckon?
I think we're getting better. I think we're going to go for like 4 likes. This time.
I mean, look, the problem, I think, is that we peaked too early with this tweet. Come on, Elon Musk. F1 Twitter is trying to silence Max Verstappen. Is there any ultra verify coming? If it was only a week or 2 later, that would have been so much more.
Would have been sweet.
Topical. I was monitoring this tweet after we posted it out, and it was looking really bad for a few days. Zeros across the board, more zeros than in Max Verstappen's paycheck, and it was looking real bad. But we got 2 pity likes in one quote tweet. So look, saved it at the last minute.
Is probably me.
Yeah. I think secretly, my strategy for this all along has been pity engagement. So, I'm hoping if we spend enough time talking about these tweets on the show, people will just feel bad for us and go and favour them.
Start doing something with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Look, you know what?
So how are we going to do better? That's the thing.
Well, I think we need to change our approach, right? We're trying to do too much with the tweet. We're pulling in multiple news stories. We're wrapping things in.
Yes, sure. It's true. Too many mentions, too many ideas.
Too much
None
matter.
of them. All of them half-cooked.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What do they say? There's too many cooks in the kitchen. That's a thing. I was going to say a different one, but I backed out because I didn't remember it all. That one's a lame one. Much like these tweets. So, okay, why don't we just go for something simple? And why don't we make it really sincere, but in our hearts, so that it's insincere? Like, congratulations, Max. You couldn't have done it without Sergio.
I can't even like that from my own account because I'm on Twitter, but look, this is what you want to do.
It's neat.
Congratulations,
it's clean.
Max. You couldn't have done it without
On
Perez.
behalf of the Formula One Super License F1 podcast, we would heartily like to congratulate Max Verstappen on his well-deserved championship, which
Perez-assisted championships.
His Perez, he put an asterisk next to it and then an asterisk Perez-assisted. No, now we're getting too complicated again. Back it off.
That's true.
Just say the thing.
So what do you want to say?
Well, I feel like I always write them.
What was the start
I'm giving you the idea. Okay. On behalf of everyone at Team Super License F1 podcast.
Every member of Team Super License.
Yep. We would like to congratulate Max Verstappen on his immaculate Perez-assisted 2022 World Championship.
You want to do full name? Max Verstappen.
Yeah, I'm going to tag him.
Do we do brackets Perez-assisted or no?
No, just I want to roast him. You actually tag him as well. I want it to be Max Verstappen 33, whatever.
All right.
All right.
Let me.
Because what's the worst you're going to do? Not do interviews with us anymore?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Max 33 Verstappen. You're right.
Am I right in thinking that Sergio Perez's number this year is number 11? And I think that's really lame.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is lame. It's just a dud of a number.
Christ.
What is
2
going on here?
ones. What's the matter?
I wrote Max Verstappen as words. I tried to change it to his handle, and somehow I think it took what I was typing and then gave me some suggestions and accidentally clicked one, but now it's changed it to @fangirlmax.
That's who we want to tweet.
I think it's because their username is Max33 Verstappen, but that's not their @name. So, been done in again by the old
autocorrecto.
Yeah.
Seems weird that Twitter would be somehow failing.
Here we go. On behalf of every member of Team Super License, we'd like to congratulate Max33 Verstappen on his... I was going to say, are we going to put brackets, Perez-assisted in brackets?
Yes.
Yeah. Perez-assisted second championship or back-to-back? Or what do we...
Yeah,
what?
yeah, let's... Yeah.
Or just on his championship?
Yeah, fine.
All right. Send?
2 years in a row, he hasn't been able to do it on his own. Yes, send.
One last read. On behalf of every member of Team Super License, we'd like to congratulate @Max33 Verstappen on his brackets Perez-assisted in brackets championship.
Yep. I was going to then be like,
Send.
#alley-oop, no, none of that. No, send.
Yeah, well, look, someone's going to DM that to Perez and it's going to make his day. So there's that.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
not saying you have to give that one a pity fave, but I'm just saying we are watching.
If you want us to keep doing this segment, then
No, that can't. No, because then no one will. It won't do what you think it'll do. If you're listening to this and you are like, yeah, I agree with that sentiment, like feel free to go hunt it down. Give that one a fave. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Should we tie it up? Put a bow on it? Send
Do it. What lies ahead? We've been teasing end of year show. Our schedule got ruined. It's all my fault. But we were going to do more Dare to Swear, and we didn't get to. So that's on me. We've somehow got to do 3 more episodes somewhere. So I don't know. We'll work it out and get back to you about that. Yeah. But there's that some of that action coming ahead. There's an end of season show coming with some guests. You could probably guess who. That's we're cooking that up now, and it'll probably be coming out very soon. So stay subscribed, as they say. Leave a comment below and hit the bell or whatever you've got to do. That's right. And look, there'll be more from us coming soon. But if it's time for you to check out on the year, that's cool. Just check back in again next year, please, and we'll see you then.
It's going to be exciting next year. I mean, this is what we'll talk about on our end of season show. It's always a little bit reflective, but also a little bit looking forwards. And about
as a spin slogan, Sergeant, it all.
Daniel Ricciardo, Red Bull driver number 2. Yeah.
Yes. And well, like I say, I feel like I'm signing off for the year, but I know we're not. So look, we'll be back with more soon. Stay tuned. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Till next time, I've been Rod.
I've been Zach.
See you on the other side. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah.